Money Talk. All right. So I know it's been a while, everyone, but this is RFBM, Raising the Financial Bar with Mar. Got a special guest right here. It's been a while. It's crazy. I've known this man for years, but I just seen him post it the other day, and I just commented 100. I was like, I felt the post that he said, and I was like, dang, I haven't talked to him in a while, but he's been doing this music thing for a while. So I wanted to get him on here on this Money Talk little Zoom video because he very knowledgeable about music, and also he just recently just had a conversation before I started recording, basically telling me how he started his company with a couple of his friends. So without further ado, just briefly introduce yourself, man, and let's get started with these questions and everything.
Well, one, I appreciate you having me on the show. For everybody out there, I'm Marcus Ramsay, music producer, keyboardist, musician, arranger, occasional songwriter from Tampa. But yeah, I mean, I've been doing music for a couple of years now. So, I mean, I enjoy the journey.
Right, man. So just topping it off, man, when did you first... Well, actually, this is the first question I want to ask you, because that's the first thing I topped off after listening to that project. Mm-hmm. What is music your number one passion?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I have other things that I, as far as like business wise that I do. But as far as like my number one thing that I pursue is music. So like that Keep Dreaming, which is the project you're talking about for everybody. Keep Dreaming, it was a project that I just like, I put in my mind, I was like, all right, I got to get something out. I got to like, because it's been about 2 years, maybe 3 years since the last time I put out like a small single or something like that. But this was like the first time I put a full project out. So yeah.
Okay, so when you first when did you initially think about starting this company that you're talking about? Like I said, I'm into music, but I don't know the business ends of this. So tell me, what was the process of getting with you and your friends and formulating it as like actual company?
Yeah, so it's a good question. I mean, I've thought about starting this company a couple of years ago, actually. So this was like when I was still in college, and it was honestly, I didn't even know what I was going to do when I like my last semester in school. But one of my professors, at the beginning of the first day, they go around like, "Hey, introduce yourself."
Yeah, introduce.
It was like one of those things. And I had mentioned that, I like to do music. And he was like, have you ever thought about doing sync licensing? And pretty much that is just like what you hear in movies, on TV shows, on commercials, is pretty much having your audio, your music synced with the visual. And it's just called, it's called sync licensing. So pretty much, I mean, I started digging more into that. Another friend of mine, she was up in school in Nashville, but she came back and we started talking about business, starting up a company. Ultimately, that didn't go anywhere. That didn't go as planned, but it just got me more insight as far as like things that you could do with music on the business aspect of it. Like, it doesn't always have to be somebody on the radio or making a video. Like, you can do it in other ways. So fast forward, my friend Esteban, the guy that you heard on the records, we were talking about starting a company, and this was probably like midway last year, like pretty much in the middle of the pandemic, and we were just like brainstorming different ideas. I had mentioned to him like different sync licensing ideas, and then also like putting our projects underneath this company name, and it's also to protect ourselves, if anything happens on the business side. Like, we have this LLC that owns our work, that we also are the owners of this company.
Okay, that makes sense. So for people that are not really familiar, would you say how many members are within the company?
It's just two, myself and Esteban.
Okay, all right. So you make a LLC for, is it like, explain us, like, this is not publishing, this is like for like
publishing is it's a sector of music, but it's not what we're into. It's more so a production company. So
Okay.
yeah. So if an artist or a TV studio, a film studio needs a song or something like that, they can come to us, and we can do all our business through Poetic Sound.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, that makes sense. So with the music, did you say music syncing or
Yeah, sync licensing.
sync licensing?
Yeah.
Did you already start the process previously, or is it now that you started the company?
No, yeah. So I started looking into that last year. I started like digging and emailing different like music libraries. Music libraries are pretty much like how can I explain? It's kind of like an Uber system if you think about it, where you got like a person needs a ride, and then the driver, they just connect through this app. Essentially, that's what this music libraries are. They have the music stored on their hard drive, their clouds, and they have the connections with these production companies, and they get a certain percentage from the negotiation and the sales, and then you get a percentage, and then you also get like the back end, the royalties off of that.
Oh, that's dope. So you get royalties off of that music the syncing license as well. And
Yeah.
is there
Depending on how you negotiate it, but yeah, you should.
so is the person like is that person that has the connects to get you basically the deal, or I don't know the right terminology to call it,
Yeah.
like the connect to are they like a third party or a middleman? Or
They're the middleman, because they're the ones that have the connections already. Especially like if you don't have anybody to reach out to on a TV show or something like that, they would be the person, at least the easiest way to get in, just because again they already have the connections, and because they are doing the work as far as like negotiating, they'll just take a percentage of that. But what they'll probably ask for is like an exclusive right to that song, so you won't be able to put that song out for streaming, like for you personally, but you can still have the royalties off of that if it gets picked up for a show or something.
So would every time it gets put on into a show or a movie or like commercial,
every time it gets played, it's getting counted for.
So how are you able to like keep track of like
it's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot. Yeah. So it's a part of publishing. So that's what you were asking earlier, like the publishing company. So there are different publishing companies that are out there that pretty much are your representation of like collecting money for you. So you'll hear a lot of artists talk about BMI or ASCAP. Now, that is one portion of publishing, but they only collect in the United States, like North America, I should say. So there's other publishing companies that they'll register your songs on BMI, ASCAP, and then also if your song is played in Europe or in China or Nigeria, they'll be able to contact the people out there and collect your money for you. So if you get a song picked up for a show, you should let your like publisher know, hey, yada yada yada, this is the song, this is the title of it, this is the songwriters, and then they'll like on your behalf, they'll do the work for you to collect your money. And again, like they'll take a percentage, but it's better than not having money coming in, you know.
I feel like it's a general theme. Everyone's getting a little piece.
I mean, it's the way the business, unless you have your own publishing company and you have your own connections with people in the different countries, then you can keep 100% of it. But I mean, there's pretty good deals on different publishing. It just depends on what you want to do, honestly. I mean, I'd rather own as much as my music as I can, so I can get more off of that, more revenues, and then also I just have more control of where my music goes. But for some people, they may just want to put music out and not really have to worry about the business aspect. I enjoy looking up the business, so
Okay. So do you have anything in particular on the business side that you think is important for somebody that wanted to get into music?
Yeah, I mean, that in particular, like knowing about splits, your royalties, pretty much like the back end stuff. Um, because a lot of times, let's say you're an up and coming artist, producer, songwriter, something like that, and you're just trying to get your name out there, and you hear like a lot, you should work for free. In a way, like you can, right? You can work a deal out to where the upfront fee, like there is no money, but if the song like takes off and you have it in the writing and the agreement that you get a certain percentage of the proceeds that come from that song, then it could probably outweigh what you would have gotten on the front end because you had your business right on the back end. And that all just comes with like publishing and stuff like that and having ownership of your publishing.
Dang. It seems that now it makes me even think even more is like, I guess you could still kind of blame them, but it's like I could see why artists and people get scammed or, you know, finessed out of all of their rights to everything, because if you're not taught these things or you don't research these things, and even then it's kind of good that you kind of have somebody that can take you around and give you a little background to everything, because just like that.
I mean, it's just like it's just that easy to be like swindled out of some money because you didn't understand the verbiage. And I mean, that's typically how it goes. They try to put in like words that you don't understand, and I don't 100% understand. That's why I would get like a legal like advisor, yeah, somebody to make sure that the words and representation is correct. But a lot of times, even like in situations when artists do get like taken advantage of, and it's usually because they just sell out like all of their ownership, you know. And when it comes to like they see like their music is popping and they're not seeing a dime, is because of the deal that they signed. And it sucks because like it sucks because there are other ways to do it, but it's just like the record companies, they just have connections in order to get you out there a little quicker on different platforms. But I mean, to each your own, you know.
So I definitely want to touch base on that even more. I want to get onto the streams and everything too, but before I even get further into that, when it comes to that, like the record label being able to have access to people's, you know, rights to their music and everything, what about when it comes to like shows? Like even then, I know you're not like some artist that's having one of these 360 deals or just out here every weekend or whatnot. But for you, let's say you had to go about, say you were signed to a label and you had like a show. How do they even calculate how much they're going to take out, or how's that done?
Well, all of that would be like included in that 360 deal that you were talking about, because it's like it's not that they're just taking a portion of your music. Like they want to take a portion of your TV deal, your movie deal, your concerts, your merchandise. And a lot of times, like back in, I would say even like early 2000s and prior, a lot of artists, they would make a lot of their money off of touring and merchandise. Like that's how they would do it. Like the sales didn't necessarily come from, like their money didn't necessarily come from the music itself. That was really just like pay back the record companies, but their money would come from like their endorsements and their concerts and their merchandise. But now, because of the way streaming is set up, it's kind of like music sales have gone down and record companies are putting in place like more 360 deals. So that way it starts to dip into other pots that they necessarily weren't into prior. So that's a whole thing as far as like why streaming is a big deal and how it like changed the game. But you know, it is what it is.
So yeah, I see. You seem pretty chill about it. So I put it this way because I know there's a negative connotation to that, but it's kind of like, even though I'm not knowing to understand like the music side of the business, I understand it's like whatever you get into when you make a deal with somebody, like a lot of times they're trying to get their money back in. honestly, when it comes to these deals, being realistic, they're trying to get a better deal on it than you. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's like, if you think about it, it's an investment. Like, so an artist will, let's say an artist gets like $50,000 for an advance. I mean, some artists get more than that, but let's just say 50,000 for the sake of this conversation. So the record company gives them $50,000, and they have, let's say, like a 5-album deal. I mean, that's a pretty bad deal.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, for the sake of this argument,
big portion of somebody's
for the sake of this argument. So the record company, they want to get their $50,000 back on the investment that they've given to this artist up front. And then it's like they because they're getting their investment, they're also going to eat off of the streams. They're going to eat off the merchandise, the concert tickets, the commercial endorsements, all of those things. So they're making a pretty good ROI on like a lot of their
right, the ROI on
yeah. So it's like, and you see, like, when artists, they don't do well, they get dropped. Like, they had all that money, but now they still got to pay that. They still got to pay the company back.
Man, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, like, they still got to pay that advance back, like, regardless. So, yeah.
So just before I kill this talk, because I know this is a big topic a lot of times, but I'm just so curious about it because, you know, I'm into music, but I don't really understand the business side fully because I'm not an artist. It's like, if you say you were offered a deal, do you think would you still think it's worth it? Like, say they offered you a deal and let's see, like, say it was like $1 million deal. And a lot of times they're a $250,000 advance and they have, you know, access to your publishing, your masters, your shows, your brands, your endorsements. But at the same time, they're putting that much money up front. Would you still consider it?
Right now, no. Because I feel like in this like current like situation where I'm at, I'm like an up and coming producer, artist, musician. So it's like, what is the likelihood of me making $1 million back in like 2 years right now? You know, so it's like, is it the smartest deal? No. Even if they did present it, I mean, $1 million is a lot. But it's a lot of money.
Now, wow, Marcus took that deal with Warner Bros. He was all cap with me, man.
No, like, it's a lot of money, but you better believe they definitely want that money back. But so it's like, I wouldn't want a deal even like that where they're just dipping into what I'm doing, especially if I'm working the record, like I'm promoting it, I'm making the connections with people, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm doing all the work and they're just trying to just take money from me without really doing much, I don't really see that being a great deal. The only way I would sign is if like I was more established and if it was more of a more of like a partnership as opposed to them just owning my music. So they're like partnering with like distribution and, you know, places that I probably wouldn't have gotten into.
That makes sense. So with the distribution and everything, how like, can you explain like because you have the publishing, then you have the people that's doing the promoting for you, then you have the distribution. Like, how does that? So somebody's independent, but they have a distribution deal. How do you explain that to me?
Well, I mean, with the way like technology is now, honestly, you don't even have to have a distribution deal. You can literally just sign up with like an online distributor, which is what I do. I mean, there's a couple out there. I'm pretty sure people that watch this video probably know. You got Song Trader, United Masters is that's the one that I signed with. Well, not signed with, but like signed up with. What is it? CD Baby, DistroKid. Now, all of them have different agreements for like their services, but all of them, they pretty much do the same thing. It just depends on what you agree with and what you want them to take and stuff like that. But pretty much like they get your music on the Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, all that stuff, YouTube, everything. So you're really like, honestly, you don't really need a record company unless you just want to get to like that big stage, like that
It's like a
Beyonce,
boost.
Bruno Mars,
Mm-hmm.
Migos stage. You know what I mean? Like that's when it's like, all right, that's when a record company can really come into play because they have the connections to set up international
Mm-hmm.
tour or a nationwide tour. You know what I mean? So
Okay, so with that being said, then let's get into the nitty gritty because this is what I really want to know. It's like I know you have your aspirations and some of your ideas that you have in plan. I know you said you had some things in the work as well. So like when it comes to being independent and using your music to try to convert it to income, do you think it's realistic for independent artists to just pretty much make most of their money off of just streaming?
yeah, I mean that's a good question. I definitely think that it can. Like I've seen it happen where like people they can get a pretty good living off of streaming. Now it's not everybody, so I'm not gonna say like everybody can do it, but I have seen it, which means it can be done. And I mean like by people that
Mhm.
aren't even like A-list or B-list artists, but you know,
Exactly.
they get like pretty decent streams. But I will say it is difficult to do, especially just because the way that the streaming system is set up and like the numbers and the payouts, it doesn't it's not advantageous for the creator, you know, because Spotify. So I mean, you know, it started like Napster, and
Mhm.
then LimeWire was a thing, and they were trying to like record companies were trying to like answer this problem of like people stealing artist music and them not getting paid for it. And
Mhm.
then Spotify came around, and Spotify is like they have this huge database of millions of songs that people can listen to,
Mhm.
and now you can listen to your favorite artist at just a click of a button. Well, at that time, like record companies were trying to figure out how can they you know get their money off of this. So
Mhm.
Spotify made a deal with these record companies that they have to pay 70% of their income. So like all the subscriptions from everybody around the world, all of that money, um, they have to pay 70% of that to the record companies. And then
Wait,
the record
who's paying 70% of that?
Spotify has to pay 70% of their revenue to these record companies.
Oh man. so, how,
Yeah.
so how are they able to pull out of the Spotify? I mean, I'm sure they're making a lot of money, but you said 70%.
Well, that's the thing. Like that's why you see them starting to become more of a podcast based
Mhm.
platform because now, like if they own the content, now they don't got to pay out anybody for their music. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So now they can even that out. As you see the Michelle Obama podcast on there, the
Mhm.
Barack Obama podcast. They just did the deal with Joe Rogan, his podcast on there. Now, I don't think they
Mhm.
own Joe Rogan's podcast, but I mean, it's like a partnership, and it's like bringing in, you know, more subscriptions, more
Mhm.
of his viewers and stuff like that. So, all that to say, like, if you got all that money going to Spotify, right, and then all that money has to go out to these record companies, how much money do you think is going to go out to the artist? Um, and there's actually like a statistic on a stream, how much an artist has to
Well, that's
stream in
dope.
order to make
Definitely
minimum
pull that
wage.
up.
All right, so for like per stream, all right, I'm gonna go with the state of Florida. All right, so and this is
Okay.
from Spotify stream. So minimum wage is what, like $10 an hour, right?
Is it 10 now?
I don't know. I mean, it's saying that on this website, so I'm gonna go with that. So on this website, it's saying Florida $10 an hour. That's minimum wage. So in order to make that like for per month, make a minimum wage, you have to stream at least 325,204 streams for that
Mm.
song, right? That's a lot. Okay. Let me see. Now there's different like payout scales. Spotify is one of the worst when it comes to the payout scales.
I
Paying
can
the artist.
imagine. I know people were mad because of those. It's pretty much you could listen to there for free. there's a free version where you listen to commercials, you can listen to their music.
Right. Yeah.
I thought that they were. It's crazy. I'm glad you tell me this because I'm thinking Spotify so huge. Is like, oh yeah, they're definitely shelling out money. Because I know Taylor Swift was mad, but I was like, that's Taylor Swift. She has such a broad spectrum of fans and support. I would be mad too, but I was like, every other artist, most artists, like lesser, even big artists, Taylor Swift is huge. It's pop music, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
but that's
but I
terrible.
mean, like it's good that she did say something, because I mean, if a bunch of like artists like myself were just like complain, I mean, it's not really gonna say much. If we say, hey, I'm not putting my music, I'm not putting my music up on Spotify, or you know, who's that turning away? That's not turning anybody away. I can 100% be sure. Like if I said that, my cousin of mine would be like, "Dang man, that sucks." But did you hear the Jeezy album that came out? Yo, Spotify, just listen to it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, but if you have like Taylor Swift saying that, that means her fan base, which is millions, potentially could be like leaving. You know what I mean? So that's
she
why
told them to.
Yeah, I mean, she did that. You saw Jay-Z took pretty much like majority of his catalog down from Spotify for a number of years when he started up Tidal, just so he can get, you know, the leverage on that. I mean, eventually he put it back up on Spotify and he just sold like his shares, majority of his shares. But as far as like, so this
the Tidal,
yeah, Tidal.
Yeah.
So this is what the payouts are. All right, so you got Amazon at, this is like cents, by the way. So you got Amazon at 0.01196. You got Tidal at 0.00989. Apple Music 0.00563. Then you got Spotify all the way down at the list 0.00318. That's not even a penny.
Wait, so you were doing it from the highest payout to the lowest?
Yeah, the highest to the lowest. The lowest is like like YouTube and stuff like that, YouTube content, stuff like that. But thing is, YouTube also has like a lot of people go to YouTube. YouTube is probably like the second most visited website, I think, behind Google.
You gotta heard about it. Apparently, I don't know if you're familiar with NBA YoungBoy. Apparently, he makes millions of dollars off of YouTube alone.
YouTube it is probably like, it doesn't pay much, but it is profitable just because everybody can access it. It's all about access. Whereas like these other ones, you got to pay a subscription.
Pay to get on. Right.
So yeah, but Spotify, I mean, as big as it is, and it is the leading streaming platform, it sucks that, you know, they're not being like their integrity as far as like paying the artists and creators is not great. But I mean, like, it is the game and it is what it is. And I think they definitely took it to court. I think a couple of years ago, trying to make streaming platforms to regulate it a little better to make them pay out. So
who knows at this point? That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I mean, I know that it's low, but I never thought in the reverse. And also, like, especially as artists, no matter if you're a big artist or small artist, it sucks when you put time and effort, obviously to each their own, who thinks who's more deserving based on the quality of their music, but it's still yours. And then it's not being, you know, paid out. You're not getting your full, I feel like you're not getting paid your full due for what you're doing, because yes, Spotify's built, Apple Music's built, YouTube's made, but the whole reason why you're the reputation you are is from the people.
It's from the content. It's the content. Like, I try to tell people this all the time, all the time. Like, content is king. Like you can have services. Services are great because like they help get the content out there. But ultimately, like, product, content, like all that stuff, it is valued more. But it's just like services, like the streaming services, these platforms don't value it like that, which is the unfortunate part. I mean, Tidal is doing a better job at it just because they have more artists and like they have stake and interest within Tidal. So it's like, all right, at least they can like get paid from, you know, a deal that's going on, you know. So, but you know, it is what it is.
That's probably what the best way to put it, I think. So like now I'm thinking, even throughout the like seeing how as you started and you were thinking about starting your own company and everything, it's crazy. Like, you know, I do the marketainment thing as well, but the RFBM thing where I was trying to get people to understand financial literacy and trying to find ways for them to, you know, practice any type of entrepreneurship ideas to try to build money. The internet's literally liquid money. It's just
it's great. And I mean, we have all these different tools, insights that are free to use. I mean, like I know for me, I use Instagram a lot when it comes to just my everyday social media usage. But like you get a lot of good insight on that as far as like your following. You can you can put out your advertising on the same platform that Dove Soap can put their stuff out on, you know. So it's like, I mean, the competition is there.
Dope way to look at it.
Like, competition is there, so you know you definitely have to put out money because you got to bid on these spots. But it doesn't mean that you can't do it by on your own merit, like on your own feet.
Right. Okay. Dang, this was actually. I knew it was going to be interesting. It's like, dude ain't no dunce, and he know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So I knew, but some of these things is like, it's almost like when I have people talk to me, whether it's on here or just off camera, it's like you get a different perspective. It's not about something just being straight up fact, but it opens up your mind and you realize like, damn, like I'm not an artist, so I'm not going to really know the things that you have to go through, the low payouts, the exposure. Like I know, but I don't know. You know what I mean? I can empathize with it, but it's not really my shoes. You know?
Yeah. It's I mean, and it's a lot. I mean, I can understand. I can resonate with like artists that do go through different stuff. And it's like sometimes I don't even like some artists' music. You know what I mean? But you know, I'll give it a stream or something like that, or or if I really like mess with an artist and I love their music, I'll purchase the album just because you get more money from the purchase than as you do the stream. But yeah, I mean it's a whole thing. Like I get on people all the time when it comes to like downloading music just to download it. They didn't really pay for it. I used to do it all the time. Like, you know, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'll just be stealing live stuff from YouTube. But
the honesty.
But I mean, but as far as like, but it's like when it comes to like actual projects and albums, I'll try to do as best as I can to like support that artist. You know what I mean?
And I get that definitely, because you know I do the DJing also, and it's like you got to think. I don't do it, you know, I work a full-time job and then I'm trying to do my other ventures and I'm just trying to work on, then you have your personal life you have to deal with too. So it's hard, but I'm not a full-time DJ. I'm not trying to make excuses, but it's going to be a lot more pricey for me to keep downloading and paying for every single song.
Right, exactly.
Even with the music pools, like I have one, I use BPM Supreme. It's like,
they've made really good DJing software where like it embeds to streaming platforms. Like there's this one that I use called DJ2, and so Spotify like cut off their like I guess deal with this app because you could used to like embed your Spotify account with them, but you can't do that anymore. But Titles you can still be able to use Titles music database for this app. I mean, it's great. I use it all the time whenever I DJ.
See, you got to put me on this, man, because I didn't even know you're saying embed. I seen the little term embed when you're trying to like transcribe something on the internet, but I don't really know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, like,
because I pay $30 a month, and sometimes I'm buying songs when I can't find it when I'm trying to like the DJ pool I have to pay $30 a month, and then like I download the different songs. Sometimes they'll have like mashups and stuff too. So, but
so when it comes to that, Tidal doesn't. I mean, I don't think Tidal has like you talking about like where they have like actual remixes and like and different song on another beat or something like that.
Yeah, sometimes they have that, which it wouldn't matter to me though. Like that's cool and all, but I just want to find somewhere reliable where I can just get the music, play the music, and just let it be. I'm not out here scratching. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
just mixing, blending the music, and just keeping it
Right.
moving. You know? So
Yeah. This DJ2, you can set up where you can log into your title account and it'll pull up all your playlists. It'll pull up the entire database, and you can just like search the songs from that app. You can download them to your phone, onto your computer, your iPad, whatever you use, an Android. Like you can use on whatever, and pretty much like you just get the entire database. It's great. I mean, just because like I forgot how much it is. Either you can do a month or you can do the whole year. I think the whole year is like $50, and
oh, that's nothing, man.
it's nothing. Yeah, and then you just sign into your title account, and then boom, you can do that, and then you can also like download your own stuff too.
You gotta send me that link, bro.
Yeah.
I gotta figure that out because man, 30 times 12, man, and
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
And then when I can't find the songs, so a lot of times they don't have all of the songs, especially like, you know, what my background, I'm not finding them these dance hall songs on there, man. They still got that old No Games song.
Yeah.
So
listen,
special.
that's
like,
where you gotta get the title at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just try to find something because that's another thing. There's a lot of dancehall artists now. Well, I think it's the producers mostly too. That's a whole nother topic though. They're uploading consistently like the new rhythms and whatnot. So I'm keeping up to date with some of that and some of the reggae albums, whatever. Like they've adjusted. They've been putting it on there a lot more, you know.
Yeah.
And you'll drop it like I don't know if you're familiar with that. Like they'll have one rhythm, it's like 10 different artists on the same beat. And like they have
different the rhythms.
Yeah, the rhythms, you know.
Yeah.
Man, bro, I could go on and on the conversation with that. A couple years ago, I went with my grandpa. He was talking to me like real old, like 60s rhythms. And like I was like, man, he's like, yeah, and that's how Bears Hammond had that beat. And he's like, that's how Dennis Brown had this. I was like, wow, so they took that bass line off of that bass line off of that bass line. And I thought that was the original. So even that is dope in itself. But yeah, man, just to close it out, just one more question I have to ask. So for your plans, like what's your latest project and everything, what do you think, what is your strategy that you're going to do to make your platform more profitable and sustainable?
Yeah, really good question. I took a webinar recently on how to like make your albums, your music, instrumental albums, whatever, more profitable and stuff like that. So I'm really I'm investing more into like content. So videos, creating more videos of me creating music so people can get a feel of like what I'm doing. And then also photo shoots and stuff like that. It's really just like making sure that my content is great, but then also making sure that I'm able, like once I put the music out, it's not just going to live on the streaming platforms. Like it's able to live in multiple spaces. So going back to the sync licensing, I can put out a song on streaming, and then let's say I feel very confident about a song and I want to take that and I want to pitch it to a music supervisor. Well, then now I can, and if it gets picked up and it gets accepted, now I can not only have the streaming out there and getting royalties off of that, but now I just negotiated a deal with this one company, with this one person, and I can negotiate a certain upfront fee, and then I can negotiate the back end as well, So it's just a matter of like setting up the back end stuff. A lot of times for artists, it's the back end money that they have to make sure that the money is, or the terms are right, because you can make a lot more on the back end than the front end.
Yeah, dang, man, there's a lot. I'm going to research all of this like I'm an artist out here. Like I got a whole album. I actually like music though. I'm not going to lie. It's crazy. it's crazy. I always bring the story up. It's like music. Way back when I was younger too. I remember my mom, she wanted to get us in piano classes or whatever. She brings it up sometimes too. We were like 6, and she signed up the piano lessons. And at the time, I was a yes man to my little sister. I'm the oldest, by the way. And like she told me, she's like, tell mommy we don't want to do the piano classes anymore. And I was like, all right. So I was like, oh, we don't want to do it anymore. And we just stopped doing it. And I remember our piano teacher was a blind guy. And
he said blind or blonde?
Blind.
Oh, yeah, blind, like blind. Okay.
Yeah. And he was really good. It was crazy. It's almost like he could see. Yeah, it was crazy. And like it made me think from then, you know, as a kid, because you didn't think too much about it, it's like whatever's like, I really wish I could have kept going into that, because they were trying to get us all excited. It's like, we're gonna have these we're gonna have a pizza party at the end and all this. And I really care about a pizza party, especially when you grow up like with me. Both my parents Caribbean, is like, I want some rice and peas and curry chicken. Like, tear out the damn pizza, man. But what I was more excited about is like, I wonder after these couple months of piano classes, it's going to be good. But neither here nor there. Then later on in middle school, I played the saxophone and the alto sax. That was my cry. I remember I was mad. I was like, I should have got that solo. But you know, what things is what it is. But I didn't really think too much about it after. And I remember my mom moves us to a charter school. So that school didn't have a music program. They didn't have a sports, nothing. It was a really small charter program school. So they didn't have a lot of things. And my mom was doing this rent to own at the time. And they came to our door, I guess, like asking if you wanted to pick it up or keep it. And at the time I was like, I'm not going to, I'm going to have to do it on my own. It's like I was comfortable practicing. I was so excited about the music and the notes that I practiced at home and try to do the harder ones at the end of the book that we had back when we were in 6th grade. It's like, I don't have my instructor anymore. I'm gonna do it myself. So that was it. And I still regret it to this day, but music is just beautiful, man. And it's crazy. I appreciate you coming on here and talking about the different ends, like the music syncing. I'm definitely looking into that too. I never thought of that. So I'm thinking about is like your project and you're like, yeah, he's gonna keep pushing these things, making more content, but there's plenty of ways, apparently.
I mean, at least for like the public eye, like that, that is what I'm doing. But there's like other things. And I mean, I'm always trying to like bring other people along with me. Cause I know like not a lot of people may know about the information that I just like said. So like in any ways that I can help somebody else out too, you know what I mean? Like I'm always there to do that. So
right, exactly. And I'm definitely going to look into this. And I'm going to tell some of my other friends too that do music, because I have a couple of my friends, like one friend, Scotty Diodric, like he's one of the friends that I can say that can actually rap. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm a little critical myself. Like I said, a lot of times people be like, well, I don't see you doing it, but I'm just critical because
if you know music, you know music.
Yeah, you know, and it's like when you hear certain things, I don't, you know, there's been so many years I can't even read notes anymore, and I can't break it down the same way somebody else is. But I know Coltrane, I know Miles Davis, you know what I mean? I know these people, I know these sounds, soul in the 80s and the 90s transition and just rap, all of that overall. So I could tell you if aesthetically or if I feel like something just isn't right, you know what I mean? So I have a couple of friends, like I push them because I know like they might not be the greatest artist, but they're solid artists. So even this guy though, he's great. He's good at what he does, and he actually takes his time, you know, to put out content. So that's why I'm trying to push it as much as I can. So I appreciate it. I'm definitely going at, you know, I don't know 100,000 subscriber dude, but I'm trying to get more content, and I definitely try to keep up with this stuff. And I'm gonna add your description. And you know, I was streaming that I don't know if they keep you up to date with that stuff. I kept playing that, man. I played that.
Yo, listen, everybody, like, honestly, it's funny. Like, so that was the first song that I made for that project, Keep Dreaming. And I was like, yo, this is the one. This is it.
Yeah, you knew.
Like, I felt it. And I mean, every time I played it for somebody, like, they just fell in love with it, you know? They're like, it's simple, but it's like, it just hits, you know?
Yeah, bro. So we definitely got to talk too, bro. We'll get more into this. But I'm gonna add the description. I'm gonna add all your music in the link, and I'm gonna keep on streaming that. I like the one with that little reggae vibe towards the end too. I think you know what I'm talking about. It might have been like track 10 or something, but yeah, bro, I was surgical. I was surgical on it. I was actually listening to it, bro. I actually listened to this stuff. So send me some stuff too, man. I want to listen to more of them and hear what you got.
I have to send it to you before I release it, get some feedback.
Yeah, bro. A lot of my friends do that. A lot of my friends are sending that too. It's like, you know, I was feeling special and whatnot. It's like, yeah, dope. They'll just ask me, what do you think? It's not like he thinks I'm some record producer. They just like to hear my feedback because I actually will listen. You know what I mean? I'll listen. I'll hear even, bro, you should have cut that breath in. I heard that whole breath. Like, I heard that. You might want to lower that down a little bit. Everything was like, that was off by like a beat. You know, I'm not one of 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't break it down the whole thing, but I can tell when it's off by half a beat. It's like that sounds, you know what I mean? So yeah, I appreciate it, man. And once again, this is RFBM, Raising the Financial Bar with Mar. Like, comment, subscribe. For those of you who are listening to this, appreciate the support and stream my boy so you can get that 303,000 streams a month. Yeah, man.
Our own mind has to be changed. We have to change our mind about ourselves.
But this world is such a gimme. Everybody back off. You know, everybody's like taught that from school.
I don't come to bow, you know. I come to conquer.